Well, I don't go around thinking of myself as a farming intellectual, but I don't see any inconsistency between farming and intelligence, and the idea that farmers are unintelligent or simple-minded is a fundamental, destructive error, because farmers who are responsible have to have complex minds because they're answerable to complex demands. Certain things are expected of them on behalf of the consumer, on behalf of the plants and animals, and on behalf of the land. So to be a good farmer is to be a good conservationist, a good husbander of the land and the crops and the animals, that is, a good caretaker. And those things are as important, at least as important, as the ability to cause the land to produce. And there isn't anything unintelligent or simple about it. The simplest life I ever lived was in New York City, where I bought everything I needed and depended on somebody else to produce it. That's simply a way of saying that consumers of food have agricultural responsibilities. And if we are going to have a sustainable agriculture, we have to have knowledgeable consumers who know what they're eating, what the ecological and human costs were of its production, and what they owe to those natural and cultural sources from which they eat. So if we reform agriculture in the United States anyway, and I think probably in the developed world, that's going to come about partly by consumer demand. I don't think that there's any danger that they will become a fad. I think that the consumers who are now devoted to farmers markets are devoted to them because they like the food and because they want to help local food production as a precaution against want and contamination, and because they've come to know their suppliers. So the farmer's market represents a relationship between consumers and producers that is cooperative rather than competitive. And it seems to me that those people are never going to be satisfied again to be ignorant consumers of the mass market of food, the mass marketing of food, maybe I should say. Well, there's no such thing as a uniform group known as farmers anywhere. The distinction, the most interesting distinction now among farmers in the United States is between the farmers who are selling to local customers and the farmers who are selling simply to the general agricultural economy, the market economy as it's called. And this is there's nothing nationalistic about this distinction. The farmers who are selling on the general market are they're subjecting themselves, they're offering their products to the global economy. The farmers who are selling to customers they know are locally oriented, and that's the difference. And I don't know how to alter that stereotype except to point out that it is a stereotype, the stereotype that you began talking. I'm messing this question up. That question issues from a belief that there is a typical creature, a stereotypical person known as the American farmer, and there is no such person because the family garden, especially if it's an urban family garden, is a powerful teacher. It carries people beyond the assumption that if they have money, somehow food will come to it. And it complicates people's understanding of what food production is all about. So I don't think there's any better preparation for participating in a local food economy than a family garden. I think that it would be hard to overestimate the importance of food growing, especially in the cities. What people in the cities can do that is most significant is understand their own ignorance about their own food economy. They need to begin to ask themselves about the sources of their food, where it comes from, who produces it, what the safeguards are of the healthfulness of the food, what its ecological and human costs may have been. And I think when city people are living from the supermarket, they have no way of finding the answers to those questions. And the next realization that they would have would be that if they narrowed the boundaries of their personal food economies, they would have a better chance to answer those questions and take personally some responsibility for their food supply.